Thanks for listening to the Kojima Frequency. If you're enjoying the show and want to help support it, make sure to check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/KojimaFreak.
Yeah, I haven't played 7 in years,
Yeah.
and I hadn't played 10 in quite a while. So 10 is like one of my favorite games ever made. But I was like, I haven't played it in years. I wonder if it's still one of my favorite games. And I played it, and I was like, this is even better than it's like I got older and could appreciate elements of it that I never even noticed before.
Yeah, that was one thing when I was watching you stream and I was like, man, there is like a system to this. I just didn't know about it. Like you guys were using items and like every fight, you had your guy coaching you the whole time and it was just like
Wizard,
yeah,
my
your
local
wizard.
wizard. He was the protection for myself because if I didn't have him with me, I would have played the game for I would have just been there like a lot longer than I'd wanted to be.
Yeah.
And I've watched runs of the game, but it was really about experiencing the story more than the actual fights and stuff themselves. It was
Well, that was what's cool because it minimized the fights. It got you right through it. But yeah, just the combat and the sphere grid kind of got in my way in that game, and I think that's what made me go like, ah. Like I like the turn based system of how like it showed you the order and stuff. That was all really neat. But just I don't know, the sphere grid got away from me.
Yeah, I still don't understand it. I just had the fucking wizard say, "Press this, do
Yeah.
this."
Especially when they, like I said, when they opened it up to be like, oh, you just go whatever direction you want on this. Like you can make your characters whatever. I was like, oh fuck, like don't give me that choice. Like
I had 4 of the best Final Fantasy players on Earth in my chat, right? And I still had people going, I think you need to grind some more XP before you go to the next area. And I couldn't think of the words to say, like this backseating. And it'd be like, I don't know, fucking sitting at the fucking courtside of the Lakers and being like, I don't know, I think you should be shooting
Yeah.
from here, actually. Yeah, and I was like, I don't know. I don't normally get bothered by backseating because I'm normally like really confident in the games that I play on stream. So that was a weird experience because I don't want to tell someone the wrong because they've probably played the game more than me.
Yeah.
But like I'm looking at my corner and I'm like, am I okay here? And they're like, yeah, you're fine. Just ignore him. So that was a new weird element for me. But yeah, I never realized how funny it is. Obviously, there's the obvious funny stuff in the game, but there's so many little hidden jokes and like all the additional dialogue is just a troll. I don't know how well it's translated from the Japanese, but they added some jokes that would not work in Japanese in there.
Yeah.
I didn't cry because I'm dead inside, but like, man, it fucking got me at the end. I was like, holy shit.
What game are you talking about?
FF10.
Apache beat it in like one day the other day. Like
Jeez!
in one stream. Like he just sat there.
It was
Yeah.
so peaceful. I fell asleep to that shit and woke up to that shit.
Yeah, I did a full sleep and then like came back and he was still going. I was like, oh god damn.
It is interesting though, because I did have a friend who played it recently again on Switch, and getting older, more mature, dealing with your own kind of interpersonal conflict. He definitely had the same experience as you did, where we had a conversation about how the game just somehow resonates with them more a second time, and maybe that's because they've matured more in their life, they've had more experience, but not the first time I've heard that, Apache.
Yeah, it's like I loved it as like I've always considered it one of my favorite games of all time, but I loved it like almost in a different way. I had just a completely different read of it, different appreciation for it, but still, I played the PS2 version. I think the HD remaster looks like shit. Fuck widescreen, 4x3 for life. I'm going to buy a American PlayStation 2 when I'm in America in a few days, and I'm gonna get a CRT and stuff, and I'm gonna be that guy.
They don't make games like that anymore, do they?
No,
Mm-mm.
I don't believe they do.
So, are you gonna broach the rabbit hole that is Final Fantasy X-2?
Final Fantasy X-2 is my third favorite Final Fantasy game.
Okay, so you're already well acquainted with these games.
Yeah, but I haven't played that one in a while as well, so I'm gonna replay that, but I'm not gonna do it on stream because as much as everyone's like, "Oh, stream it," most people do not give a shit about that game. Like they just don't. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit and fight for X-2. I think it's really misunderstood. And people say, "Oh, like the world it's not like the world in Final Fantasy X." It's like, yeah, it's because we killed God.
And now everybody's crazy.
No one is living their life under religious persecution anymore. Everyone is free, and it goes too extreme in the opposite way. Everyone's too.
I think a German philosopher wrote a book about this.
everyone saw how you looked how collectively ape shit everyone went in terms of both traffic and socialization after we got free quote unquote from the pandemic, and you tell me that 10-2 is in a world that's plausible. Come on now.
Are you telling me that Yuna's booty shorts are symbolic?
I'm telling you they're symbolic.
I've believed that since I was a child, so
Guns
yes.
and booty shorts.
Anyway, should I get mad about the coolant spray now?
Yeah, I was gonna say, for all the talk that, oh, we're all worried about coming off like Konami shells, or we want to make sure that we give this game its due diligence. Man, due diligence went hard today, especially with you, Apache.
Can I say something before we hit the theme song?
Sure.
If you are the kind of person who has an opinion that will not be changed and absolutely nothing will change your mind, if you have a sacred cow or a favorite YouTuber that you are just going to believe and you are not open to any sort of discussion on anything said about the topic of the Master Collection, just don't listen to this one.
Hey, I'm Fingers.
Yo, it's Apache Smash.
Hey everyone, this is Days Ahead.
And I'm Nitroid. You're listening to the Kojima Frequency.
So, ladies and gentlemen, so right now there is the whole thing of just people like nitpicking things that to a lot of us don't fucking make sense, like making MGS 1 or MGS 2 fit a widescreen display, or I don't know, having it in 8K and all these things.
To be completely fair, we were kind of nitpicking like literally like 30 minutes ago.
Well, what I'm saying is like we're talking about stuff that like actually matters. Like asking for that, we've already kind of like shown, this looks like shit, this sounds like shit, this plays like shit. If we bump everything up to 60, like we've had those conversations, and there's still people saying, "But I want it this way." Y'all been going over the different things that you've seen, and yeah, we've been nitpicking.
It's funny. The other day I saw, I think it was Crisis actually, commented on a clip from MGS1 from the Spanish version. Was it? I don't know if it was recorded from somebody who had the Master Collection or not, but because they're in the wild. But he asked if the game was running slower for some reason, and I was like, "Yeah, because it's a PAL game, and those were at 50 hertz.
Yeah,
because that's how this works."
Yeah, it like people got like crazy about it, and I was like it's just the PAL version that you can play the NTSC version. Right, seriously, if that game, if they brought Metal Gear Solid 1 out and it ran at 50 hertz, I would be raging, right? If that was the only version. But it's not, you just don't play that version.
yeah.
But I mean I wish there was a good reason to include the PAL version. There's not, because it's just trash, but like you have the good version right there, so like who cares? It's cool that they included it if you want to listen to the fucking weird dubs. Like, that's the thing, right? There's such a quirky thing that most people have probably never heard. If you live in America, you've probably never heard the dubs apart from watching them on YouTube or something like that. But now you can play that through that version if you want, and it's just there on the collection. Like, that's a good thing. There's nothing to complain about there. Should they have made the PAL version run at 60 hertz? No, but like if they did, it wouldn't have mattered. But it's just like, it's such a nothing discussion. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
New headline: Metal Gear Solid only runs at 50 frames, or what is it? No, it wouldn't be 50
hertz,
be,
25 frames. So.
Yeah, 25. There we go. Yeah. Had to do some math.
You were having that conversation about, someone was saying, like, does the subsistence version of, Metal Gear 1 run slower than the original on MSX? And, it's just like, it depends on the emulator because of just, hardware and all that stuff. You can, and you have to like tweak it to match that original target device,
Yeah, it's, I don't know. It's just a nothing conversation. I mean, it's really like kind of annoyed me that so like I was watching some French guy who got his Amazon copy early, so he's playing it on disc on YouTube, and like we're all just sat watching his YouTube stream. There's like 10 viewers of it, and we're like, press this button, do this, do this, because like trying to find out information. One of the things that's definitely different is dog tags now drop to the side of the guards instead of straight on top of them. And I don't know why they've done it like that. Maybe it's because people would struggle to find them when they're on top of the guards. It seems like some sort of like quality of life for casual players, but it just looks jarring. I don't know if it's good or bad or anything, but this is the only version it does that on so far.
I've got to be honest, I never paid attention to that before, so now I'm going to be looking for it.
Yeah, it's just weird. They kind of drop off to the side, kind of like how item boxes do.
Yeah. I know they from what I've heard online, they did not fix the laser sight during the Olga cutscene.
Yeah, no, it's not. But
but it's weird. I've heard like mixed reporting on this one. Like sometimes for some people it is, for some people it isn't. I heard one guy say that in the HD collection it shows up every other playthrough, which I cannot recall ever seeing. So I don't know. I'm just gonna have to see it myself.
Where are we out on codec lag right now, Apache?
Oh yeah, it's not. It ain't there. It's gone.
Thank
and I said that,
God.
and so many people like, no, they've edited the footage. You're such a dumbass falling for Konami's tricks.
Chill.
And I'm like, bro, there's no way
I think
on
they would
earth.
work that hard.
There is no way on earth that they fucking would know the problem exists and then cut it out in video editing to make it look exactly like it should. That would be fucking weird. That's beyond weird. I couldn't believe it when people were saying that to me. And lo and behold, it's I mean, codec delay's gone, thank God. So they've opted for, now there's a way to remap your controls. So this doesn't really matter to me because I can just go in and change it. But people are going to complain that coolant spray is on the right analog stick. And I was watching a guy play the game and he couldn't find it. And I had to tell him in the chat how to spray his coolant. And then he was like, how did you know? And I'm like, it's the Xbox controls.
You should have said because I'm Hideo Kojima.
Yeah.
Does it say it though in the weapon wheel or in the item wheel where it's just like press this to do it and then press this to do the other thing? Like, does it have that there?
I don't know. I've never looked, honestly. I've never looked.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's there in the controls. Anyway, there's like control.
That's what I'm
layouts,
saying.
but
Like if it's explained, then it's like, guys, RTFM. Like, I don't know.
no. I mean, never mind that. Like,
It's not intuitive.
Yeah.
it should not be on that button.
I see what you're saying.
It's on that button so it can emulate the pressure sensitivity.
Sure.
But there's no reason in the game to ever spray the coolant lightly. There is no purpose to it whatsoever.
Maybe you just want to be nice to the guards.
Just cool off the neck a little bit.
Right, so here's how you do that. Leave it on the right analog stick, but also have it on the fire button. Like, how hard could have that been to do? I'm so fucking annoyed, man. Like, I'm so fucking annoyed. Like, how like,
No, I'm with you on this
oh,
one.
I'm gonna go off, man. It's like, why have they done that?
Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
Why have they done that? It was universally hated on the Xbox controls. I can't find a single person that has ever said it was a good idea. There's a PlayStation player who can't even fucking find where the button is. And like, you know, you're saying read the manual, but man, this guy's probably played this game like 300 million times already. And now you've changed where the button is.
You're talking to a guy that didn't know that like the D-pad did something different for Snake Eater like the entire run of it. Like, and like on my second playthrough, I was like, oh fuck, that's something you can do. Like that's actually a difference. Like I thought it was just like, oh, this is the slow version of, you know, like every other fucking game ever. It's like you have your walk on D-pad and then like your run, but like if in that soft spot, you can also do that walk.
Yes.
But no, it was just a whole different movement that caused less noise, and I was like, oh shit. That changes things. So
yeah, man. Like it's just amateur, in my opinion. I don't like it, and I don't know why they've done it when the obvious thing would have been to put it on Square. But it's like, who tests this shit? Who tests this shit? I can look at it and just say like, don't do that. Please don't do it. And
It almost seems like over-engineering for the sake of over-engineering. Like, look how intuitive we made this.
the first time around, sure, but the second time, now that it's like it's obviously based on the Xbox version of the HD collection where they already fixed the controller problems to get rid of pressure sensitivity, it's now like, you know, it just looks like it hasn't been changed or messed with, and the biggest reason it pisses me off is because a load of people are going to give them shit about it, and it could have easily been avoided, because, you know, as soon as anyone complains about it, I'm going to just say rebind your controls. But like, why did you have to do that? Yeah, if you think I'm a shill, I'm not. Basically,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
fucking
gonna...
mad. I'm mad about
we've-
them changing a button. So
We've
I'm
laid our terms down pretty clear, and this is my nitpick. I don't know if this makes me a nerd or not, but like the way they have this shit listed in the Steam library is pissing me off.
yeah.
Like fucking Capcom just fixed this shit with Resident Evil. That was listed all wonky for a while, and now this like instead of just listing, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, I gotta see Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, Metal Gear Master Collection.
Day 1 edition.
Yeah, fucking poor people with the Day 1 edition shit. I hope that's reversible. I hope that cover's reversible.
Yeah, same.
And then when people play it on like Discord and you see it on their status, how the fuck are you supposed to know what they're playing? That shit's gonna be.
And what's weird is like there isn't like another version of it out there that like could be confused with it either. You can't just like launch, or is there on any of them? I'm trying to think for Steam.
Not on Steam.
Not on Steam.
That's what I'm
I've
saying, like, for
manually
Steam.
added
Yeah.
the executable, but that's the closest.
That's where I was getting confused. I was like, yeah, I think I have launched shit in Steam, but yeah, I added it to the library that way. Yep. So I don't know. That's there's no reason that they couldn't eventually change it to that. I don't think, but I think they're just trying to get that branding out there as much as possible. Probably, who knows? But yeah, that does suck to look at for sure. I was like, yeah, it does look gross.
I have nothing to add. When the release day comes, we're just gonna tear this thing down.
We're gonna play it,
for better or worse.
We're definitely gonna be, the day after this releases, this episode releases, we'll be doing a stream, I think, on Nitroid's channel.
Yeah, I'm gonna start at around noon, more Central Time, so be 1 Eastern, right?
Yeah. There's going to be a bunch of people streaming it though. I mean, on launch day, I think, like MGS Con teamed up with like Kitty Rar and stuff. They're doing a giveaway over there. Maddie's going to be doing a stream. I think she's going to be doing another one on Friday, like 6 p.m. PST. So, she's going to be doing like a doodle and a giveaway stream there too. So a bunch of people are going to be giving out codes if you haven't picked it up. So keep an eye out for that.
If you want a very technical stream, come to mine. That's probably what it's going to be.
I'll be there to temper out the nerdiness, so we'll make it. It'll be okay.
If you want to see a guy in a basement with 9 other guys all playing the Master Collection, then watch my stream.
Yeah, that'll be lit.
So I'm going to America, baby. I'm going to America in like a few days. I should probably pack.
Back to Ohio?
Yeah, I'm going to Ohio. The greatest state in America. You could have just said the greatest state in America.
You're damn right.
People would have known what you were talking about for sure. So are y'all doing like a 24-hour stream? Is that what it was? Or
Yeah. So as soon as the game unlocks, which I think is going to be in the afternoon for the Japanese versions, I'm going to start playing Metal Gear Solid 3. And 24 hours later, I'm going to stop playing Metal Gear Solid 3.
all right.
Jesus Christ.
But it'll probably run a little bit over. But yeah, I'm going for as many world firsts as I can.
All right, cool. So you'll have MGS 3 covered. So we'll try to look at the other games and stuff and find out about that. Cool. We'll have a little balanced programming here.
I'm sure we'll meet up at some point during the day. That's what I want to do.
I was about to say, yeah, hop in ours, we'll hop in yours. Like,
Yeah.
we'll swap around.
That works for me.
Days will pop in, we'll all be great.
This is going to be exhausting. Bring your notepad.
Yeah, it's been stressful kind of leading up to this, man, because it's like, like where we are, we just hear so many opinions on this stuff, and so many of them are bad.
Do we even need to care about them at this point? Like,
repeating the latest Mutahar video, and it's just like,
yeah.
Just play MGS1 on PC, guys. It's fine. The community made a mod for it.
Just stretch it out. The UI and the map look great. Everything looks fine.
Let me put a red light filter on and just say a bunch of bullshit that I didn't double check.
Yeah.
I like his videos usually as well.
I do too, which is why this is so disappointing.
He's normally pretty credible on stuff, at least, It's like,
not this time.
But this time it was like, man, this is coming from a hater point of view.
Well, okay.
We've got this like love it and hate it, because he gushes about it at the beginning of the video. It's like he's a fan, but he's just coming at it from a very tunnel vision perspective of, I can't play this on my ultra wide monitor. It's a scam. And it's just like, holy shit, dude, like meet in the middle somewhere,
I don't know where this is coming from.
And then he shows, he goes, here's what you're going to get. And he shows 3 games and, he's like, and that's it. And it's like, well, that's also wrong, because it's 7 games and a bunch of bonus bullshit, with the, the graphic novels and all that stuff, it's just way off the mark. You're just misinforming people.
With every region of every game.
Yeah, and it's just, there's so much there that you're just discrediting and telling your audience, do not buy this, and you have such a big audience. It's just like, man, at least,
We had people coming into our videos after that one came out just to parrot the things he was saying And if we try and say anything against that, it's like, well, you're just why are you shilling for like, no, okay.
I made one comment on his video just saying like there's so many like inaccurate statements in this video, and ever since there's been this like multiple people commenting on multiple videos of ours that are like obviously Muda fans that are coming from that video, like picking up on points.
We are in a precarious position because of the fact that we had access to an early build of this game.
Sure.
And anytime there is an element of that nature in a discussion like this, you know, people are going to see, well, you know, you were kind of given some extras here. You were kind of treated well, so yeah, you have an incentive to say you like it.
I mean, that argument's not even ever really brought up. Like that's not even the thing.
No. Like let me just say this. It is very hard to make a clear case here unless we are very, very specific about it, because there are a lot of problems I have with this collection, but they are not the problems that people keep bringing up. Least of all, the ones that Mudahar keeps bringing up.
And that's what I appreciate about Unitroid is like you were just like, okay, let me breathe. Let us all get together and let us concentrate. Because if we respond to this, we got to respond to it right. And then, of course, that whole engagement devolved into democratic sex on Baldur's Gate 3. But I digress.
That really happened.
It was a wild night.
The one thing that kind of annoys me about that, and I admittedly, you know, there's a lot going on in my personal life right now, so it is kind of hard to keep up with the discourse. But when I do keep up with the discourse, it's hard. I shouldn't be reading comments. I really shouldn't. But when I do, you know, read about, you know, these cool little Easter eggs and features on the Master Collection, there's always one person who is like, oh, well, I can just play this on my PC, or, oh, don't you guys know about emulators? And it's like, great. That's great. No one gives a fuck. Like, just kind of adulterating what could be, you know, something that's not even relevant to them. If it's not relevant to you, then you're going to stick to emulators and just get out of the discussion.
Play it on an emulator.
Yeah.
Just go ahead. I do.
Someone said, I'm going to skip this. I have it all on my Steam Deck already, and I can play them all whenever I want. And I said, you're set. Like, yeah, it sounds like you're good. Don't maybe skip this unless you want all the bonus stuff that's not included in those games. Cool. But like, other than that, it sounds like you can at least play them all. So like, yeah, you're set, buddy.
I'm not even being facetious when I say good. Play it on an emulator
neither.
Because I want people to do that. I do that. Like, that's literally a good way to do it. I just want as many ways as possible.
And I think what we're getting here overall is a net positive. Like that's, you know, like that's sure there's gripes and stuff, but there's gripes with the HD collection and the Legacy collection that I didn't notice, but other people that really dug into that, you know, like really know the games front and back were like, no, there's these things that are changed and this is fucked up now. And I was just like, I was just glad to have it on my current system right now. And then here we are again.
Nobody remembers that though.
Yeah, of course.
I know, it's really funny seeing people getting mad about a HD collection bug. It's like, you know, in a one breath, they'll be like, oh, I've got my HD collection version. I don't need this. And then they're like, oh, it's got this bug. Typical cash grab. It's like, you were literally just praising the game that bug's in 2 minutes ago. Like, fuck off, man. And also what you said earlier about the early access and stuff, I want to be clear that when you said we, you don't mean me. I did not have early access to anything.
It was only half of us.
Sorry. Yeah, that is...
That's most people, you know, like, yeah, me and Nitroid went out, you know, and did the press event in LA and had access to the game. So we kind of came through with a little bit more of an understanding than what most people had, which was the misinformation that the press put out in the first place.
God.
So I don't know, man. It sucks. It's this uphill battle where we're just constantly trying to give people at least the perspective that we have of it, and everybody's just like, fucking show.
Nobody is going to believe this, but I'm going to say it anyway. We are not carrying water for Konami. I care about accuracy, and I've always cared about accuracy. If something is true, I'm going to say so. If something is false, I'm going to say so. And if I'm wrong, and I learn that, I will say so.
Yeah.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, all we want. I mean, I've said this a million times already. I'm a broken record, but we've stated our boundaries and we've laid out our terms. And when we have those terms laid out, I feel like it's easier. As complicated as it is somehow easier to, you know, stand your ground and make these statements and contradict these points. So
there's some of these comments that are coming from like, just Metal Gear people, of course, but then like there's a lot of it too that just, it's like the gaming community will just see as a whole and just like sucks what they're doing over there, like shit, and they don't care about Metal Gear really, so they're just going to be throwing fireballs at it all day. And it's like, well, damn, but like we are here definitely caring about the game and wanting the best for it and kind of seeing what happens. So it fits their narrative. So they're like, ooh, boy, here we go. Like another thing for me to fucking, exploit and make content out of, like this one little fuck up. Cancel your pre-orders, fellas. And it's just like, ugh, I don't know. Just, I don't think I've seen anything that's been like so egregious where I'm like pre-order canceled. It's just like, no, this checks out as a pretty good collection. There might be some things that everybody's missing. It's not going to check all the boxes for everyone, but if it did, we would never get the game fucking released because it would take too long to put all that shit together, probably.
How much of this is still like latent animosity towards Konami because of the Kojima fallout?
60%.
Yeah, I think it's a lot, and I also think that there's a great number of people online who just spend time talking about games and never actually fucking play any.
Yeah, I said that last episode. It's like these people don't play games; they fucking just sit here and just argue
They
online.
talk about
and,
them.
and-
It's
and
fantasy football.
Yeah, and it's like an argumentative thing where they're like always coming at it in a negative way, and it's just like, what are you doing, man?
Getting internet points.
And what a miserable existence! Like,
Yeah, no, I genuinely, it's like, are you okay?
yeah, and I've been lately just kind of, when I do have time, it's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna like relax and actually play something or actually read something or actually watch something, and it's just like, just the discourse part of it. It's just, yeah, it's not that important to me. So I don't really care that you liked it, and I had a good time with it. Yes, it sucked, but yes, I loved it. So fuck off. Like that's where I'm coming from.
The funny thing is, like, if the collection comes out on Tuesday and it's fucking awful, like,
Yeah, we record every 2 weeks, so we'll
we're
get back
not
to
e-
you. Yeah, like
we're not even gonna give a flying fuck about these guys this point because we're gonna have so many other problems that we're gonna need to deal with. So
Actual issues with the game,
yeah,
not just imaginary ones.
we've listed our issues already, of what we have with it, but it's then when it comes out, we'll say what actually is. But a lot of it's just speculative right now on a pre-day one patch type situation where people are showing loading screens and it taking 10 seconds to go to the pause menu because it cut during a cutscene, which does have me at least thinking that there might be something else going on where it's going, oh shit, you're in the middle of a cutscene. Let's at least like do a save state really quick because this is like a weird situation that the game doesn't normally do. I don't know.
Can we talk about the fact that you can now pause cutscenes?
That's what I'm saying. Like that is a cool thing. So if it takes a little
Wait,
bit,
I'm sorry, what?
yeah.
Yeah.
So someone was complaining, a certain special someone was complaining about it taking 10 seconds for like, showing the snakes coming in on the SDV and you're watching that scene and then all of a sudden it goes beep and you hear a pause sound and then it takes a little bit. It looks like it's churning for a bit and then up comes that pause menu that you see in the master collection where like, you can go to the options, you can change your
Yeah.
controls and all that. But when that was done, it took a little bit. And so
Oh, so he brought up some kind of out of game fucking overlay.
yeah.
Yep.
So it is not just like hitting pause. It's
Look at the PSTV when you do that. Look at the PlayStation 3 when you do that. It causes all kinds of issues. I mean, anytime you bring out an out of... I mean, I don't know the technical fucking term for this, but like, if you bring out menus that are not involved with the game, it's like hitting the guide button on an Xbox game and bringing up the fucking, the Xbox menu.
yeah. You're halting the game completely. It's like almost like turning a computer off like by just holding the power button. It's just like you're like brick walling it all of a sudden. It's just like, oh, stop, shit, okay. But for it to
Yeah.
kind of process that and go, all right, hold on, let's at least save where you're at. Maybe I don't know. I'm thinking like save states or there's something going on where it's kind of making sure that it's okay. I'm not trying to make excuses for it. I'm just trying to think of a reason for why that would take a bit. Because then, then it comes up like 10 seconds later, it's like,
Save stating actually makes sense. Yeah.
Have you heard that joke? Man goes to the doctor and he says, "Doctor, it hurts when I do this." And he says, "Don't do it then."
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is like
Sounds like that.
on the level of Performance Bros going, oh, it's not solid 60 FPS. It drops to 58.
Yeah.
I would do that, but I also I talk about bringing up external menus on top of gameplay, or cutscenes. It's
I just mean it's an irrational level of pedantry.
Well, you were talking about earlier, are these games running like in PC or are they being emulated? And my guess personally would be that they are being emulated because they are within this little container that kind of you can access things, like there's a launcher at least that has a consistent menu throughout the games after you launch them.
Yeah, but that's not indicative.
They're within a shell, you know what I mean? Like but they're inside of something. They're not just EXEs that just go boop. You know what I'm saying? Like it seems that way.
Okay.
So that's why I'm calling it emulation. If it's not defined that way, I don't know. But it seems like there is something within something. And that's why when you do skip out of the cutscenes, it launches you out to that menu and it might take a bit. Thoughts?
The programmer in me wants to scream at everything you just said.
I don't care. Like, explain it. But that's what I'm like, I don't know. But just like, how would that work?
Short version, it's probably, I'm gonna vastly oversimplify this, but it's probably like a half and half sort of thing.
Of save states or something?
No, I mean of emulation and native code. There are probably some things that are being emulated and some things that are not.
Okay, yeah. Like that pause menu is something that was not in the original game, so that's...
Right, but that's an overlay. That doesn't necessarily indicate that it's being emulated.
Okay.
That's just for consistency's sake.
Okay.
This is a rabbit hole of a conversation. Like I'll talk about this stuff on the...
No, it's fine. Let's go there. Let's talk about it.
I don't even know where to begin.
Just for a second.
God, where do I even start? Like emulation, there are so many different factors that are going to go into that. And look, a lot of modern releases of older games actually use emulation to great effect. Look at Digital Eclipse, I believe, uses an emulation stack.
That's who I was kind of thinking of. It was like Digital Eclipse, how they kind of had just like these launchers that would pretty much execute the game in whatever way, but it was in this container. Right. So that's maybe emulator wasn't the right word, but it is contained.
Well, there is emulation going on. It's just emulation is a very specific thing. I was telling Apache earlier, it's sort of like the difference between having a conversation in someone else's language when you speak it versus using an intermediary, like a translator. That's going to be the difference between native code and translation. And in the case of these games, it's like, I know some of it, I know some of the language, but some of it I don't. And so I have to check references. And this is like a really vast oversimplification of what's going on.
Sure.
It's hard to say. I mean, hell, even Sony used emulation. I mean, they used a third-party open source emulator for that PlayStation Classic debacle. Do you remember that? And funny enough, I think that was running the PAL version of MGS1 too, wasn't it?
No, I thought it was, but it's just because it runs so badly.
Are you sure? I thought someone checked the ISO.
I had someone check the ISO and it's not. It's not. It just runs really badly.
Yeah, they didn't even use like a newer version of the emulator. It was like a really old build.
I just want to go back to that point on pausing cutscenes. Like it doesn't sound like you're actually able to pause the cutscene. It sounds like you're able to open a menu at any time that allows you to do certain things, and a consequence of that is that it pauses the cutscene. So here's the options. You could have the game.
Yeah,
you could have the game exactly like it was with no ability to pause cutscenes, or you can have this guide that allows you to pause the cutscenes as a consequence of it being in the game, but sometimes when you close it, it takes a few seconds before it catches back up to where it was at because you're not supposed to be able to pause the fucking cutscenes.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like
it's
it
probably
seems reasonable.
safe stating it.
That is a fucking nothing burger of a complaint.
Yeah. Okay.
Man,
cool.
Listen,
that's what I was asking for. Yeah.
I'm the guy who fucking rages at the coolant being on the wrong button. That is a fucking nothing burger of a. Oh my god! Shut the fuck up, gamers, please.
We got to talk about the one thing that I'm glad they didn't fix, which is Gorge Sears.
I've wanted them to take another letter every time they port the game until he's
eventually it's just Sears.
G. Suffer like G did.
The ultimate display of historical preservation.
He is being erased by the Patriots. My God. Unlike an intron of history, I will be remembered as a G.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes the flaws are fun to keep.
Yeah, I mean, I play the classic versions of Metal Gear Solid 2 on Out of Heaven on that stream. Whenever George Sears comes up, everyone in the chat is mad. They're like, "Where is Gorge?" Seriously, like they don't like it, man. They don't like it. They're all used to the HD version.
That's weird, because I remember when the HD version came out and thinking, man, this is so strange playing it this way. It just feels wrong.
Yeah, it's definitely imprinted as the standard of that game now.
Yeah.
Because I was showing people things in the NTSC version of the original Sons of Liberty, which, by the way, gamers, I take back, it isn't as bad as I was saying it was. People are like, whoa, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. And it's like, this is the version you played. You know, Americans, like, this is the version you got. This is the version I'd argue that most people in the world have played.
Mm-hmm. It was the first version to release. I mean, it was kind of big. It was a big deal at the time for coming out in the U.S. before any other region, even Japan.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that as well. When you say like it came out in America first, people are like, "Don't you mean Japan?" I'm like, "No,
Nope.
It came out in America first."
It was a big deal. I always think it was neat. Usually, I'm against changing previous work, but there was one change that I really liked from vanilla MGS2 to Substance. I'm actually not sure if it was added in Substance or in the other regions of the game. I've got to go back and check sometime, but I know it wasn't in the US original release. But after the sniping mission, there is a brief cutscene where Raiden runs across the oil fence, and that is not in the very first version of the game. So there's this really jarring...
Oh shit! Yeah,
Yeah.
like just after Vamp 2, and then he legs it across the oil fence. He legs it.
Yeah.
He legs it across.
It's not
the,
in the original. Yeah. So there's this
Pontian bridge.
really... Yeah, it's this jarring transition where you're like, how did he get there?
Yeah, it was gone.
You know, you're like not sure where you are.
I thought I was tripping, and like I just
Nope.
like kind of like dozed off for a second, and it was gone. But oh my god, that makes so much sense. I played that version like 2 weeks ago or something.
It was such a smart addition too, because I remember the first time I played it, I was like, why did he just go right back up? Where am I?
Well,
And then
hold
I was
on,
like, oh wait, I'm...
It's more jarring when they fucking drive under the bridge and then teleport on top of Federal Hall.
Right? I would argue that actually kind of works because it's you're already sort of in this dreamlike state.
Yeah, I was
You
about to say,
know?
it is kind of surreal, and then it cuts to reality. So, like, wherever the fuck you wake up, it's like, oh, I'm blacked out, I guess, whatever.
Plus, the scene of them driving under the bridge is so fucking dark that you can't tell what's going on anyway.
Yeah. One scene that is jarring once you know that something's missing is when Solidus is giving his speech and he's like gesturing to the flagpole and it pans up and there's no flag there. And like the first time I saw that and just early on I was like, okay, yeah, this is fine. It just didn't register as anything being wrong. And then when I found out they removed the flag, now it's just like that looks really weird. That shot is like very visibly weird to me now because I know there was supposed to be a flag.
Yeah, it is strange.
I would love to see like a restored version of that, but that is not going to happen.
We're finally just... I mean, it might. PC version now.
Okay, so they have kept the file structure for that game pretty much the same across all versions. I've got a hunch they're going to do the same here. The game is not very mod friendly. Now, to the credit of the modding community, they've done some amazing work in figuring out the file formats and how to get the scripting language figured out, and just there's some amazing stuff. I mean, he's not a part of the modding community, but the guy who figured out how to implement the third person camera system,
Yeah.
like it's doable, but it's not really friendly, so just, I mean, the fact that it's going to be on PC means, yeah, it's going to be a little more accessible, but it'll be about as accessible as the existing PC version, I think.
But just, I think more people will play it simply because it's on Steam, and the sort of people who are able to do that sort of stuff will become involved as a consequence of that. That's what I hope, anyway.
Man, Nexus Mods page for MGS2, what a world.
Yeah, I don't
man.
think we'll quite get there, but like, I think there'll be
Can you
some stuff.
imagine?
If you build it, they will come.
Oh, god damn it.
Did not mean it that way, Fingers.
No, I'm
Did
just
not
thinking
mean
about
it
the
that
types
way.
of mods that we were talking about earlier.
That's where my head was at.
Oh, poor Raiden.
He's getting a tramp stamp.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's seen the one that Whole Horse made with the thighs of liberty. It's just Raiden's sneaking suit with the legs like cut, basically.
Yep, I've seen that.
Yeah, mods are gonna fix everything. Everybody relax. It'll be okay.
I mean, the argument is that they shouldn't have to, but it will be
No, I
nice to be
agree.
able to get that.
In an imperfect world where we have finite resources, let Konami handle the vault shit. and content that we've never been able to see before, at least have so much accessibility to. And then for those little sort of gameplay elements, like, yeah, let the modders take care of it.
I'm going to just say now, for the record, I don't give a shit about mods, and I can't wait to play my PC version of MGS free in a couple of days. I'm so excited.
That is crazy. When this releases, it'll be tomorrow. Like, it's.
Oh yeah, we're reporting from the future. Or
from the past, actually.
Or the past, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know shit about anything that happened on Friday.
World could end.
Well,
I'll be on an airplane. No, I'm sorry. I just really, I really don't have anything to say at this point. It's like it's so close to it coming out, and all the questions that I have, it's like, well, I'm gonna have an answer for that soon. So there's no point arguing about it, and like there's so many fucking morons online. It's like, just go play it on emulator, man. Just shut up. You know, some of the stuff I've seen, like how stupid these people are. I don't believe for a second they even know how to operate an emulator.
and that's the problem.
This is so overused. It's painfully overused, but it's it's Dunning-Kruger.
Yeah.
The less you know about something, the more confident you are that you're an expert in it.
Yeah, like I didn't really understand that theory. At first, I thought I really fully understood it, but then as I learned more about it,
and then we started talking DJing and stuff, and you were like, "I need to mix and key. I don't need to mix and key. Wait, I do need to mix it. Wait, no, I don't need to mix and key." Oh man, I love that chart.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, this is the tricky thing. I'm sure all of us, and truthfully, all of us do it to other topics at some point.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's hard to be aware of. Oh boy, it's hard to talk about things because this is like the calm before the storm. We are just a few days out, or 1 day out.
We've been pretty like disengaged actually with all that side of stuff recently. It's just like, Apache's been playing Final Fantasy X, Dave's been playing Baldur's Gate. I've been working my ass off on stuff that I can't talk about. Yeah, it's been like a nice, like you said, calm before the storm.
That was subtle.
You've been looking at chairs and shit. I really don't know what you've been up to.
Yeah, because like my back is out, man.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what you've been up to. Yeah.
Gotta get the pain out of the way.
I get it.
I went and bought I've got a good chair coming. I know this is the most interesting thing in the world to talk about, but I'm gonna feel a lot better. I went and bought a $10 temporary chair at Goodwill though. Get me through.
Hey, what's Kojima up to?
Photos with celebrities.
I don't fucking know. He retweeted the Keeley's announcement from like a week ago, so I'm sure everybody's gonna be super speculative about what that retweet means.
Oh yeah, we got Death Stranding 2 at the Game Awards for sure. Trailer. I mean, like, bet. Yeah.
It's coming. Yeah, it's time.
Oh, last thing. We know that the MGS1 Platinum has Fox/Big Boss rating needed, so I think you can get Fox from perfect stats on hard, and Big Boss obviously extreme. So that's like a step in the right direction. I really hope they do the same with 2 and 3. We don't know until someone leaks the fucking trophy lists, but that should happen soon.
I'm waiting.
I think, yeah, that one person that was kind of showing the clips was showing around the different trophies and stuff. So they plan on doing more. So that's your early leak access from the copy of it that's not supposed to be out there yet.
Right.
Always happens.
It's Amazon. It's literally Amazon. People have just got, like, there was some French guy streaming out. It's like, how'd you get this? And he didn't really speak much English, but he just sort of said Amazon.
Yeah.
And so I assume his disc copy
Well, I
came
mean, that's
early.
Amazon. Like, there's certain resellers on there or whatever that, yeah, I mean, there's stickers on those boxes that say "Do not sell before this date," and they just go, and take those off and just get them out the door.
Problem.
Like, yeah, I was gonna say, they're like, I don't give a shit.
That sign can't stop me because I can't read.
Yeah. Small little glimpses of the game and seeing certain things that may or may not even be fixed in a day one patch. I mean, it's like I kind of hate it when people judge games this early, like pre-launch, because it's like, well, maybe they just have a big update since it going gold. Like that's like a Cyberpunk situation where they're like showing it before it launched, like, oh, look how fucked up it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on.
No, that game was
hate
fucked
that,
though,
though.
right? Yeah, I hate it too. I'm with you, Nitroid. I'm a boomer, mate. They used to release games and they were perfect.
The problem is the games are so much more complicated now.
Uncomplicate them.
That's the answer.
everybody's giving Cyberpunk like 10 out of 10 now that now it's like version 2.0 and they've got, you know, the expansion on it and shit. And it's just like, oh, here they are. And I'm just sitting there like, man, I had a good time with it before it was cool. Like, fuck you guys.
Can we do unpopular opinions?
Didn't that come out before COVID?
Yeah, I think so.
Wait, no.
Yeah, like I beat that game in like a month. Like I was talking to somebody about it the other day, and it was like from December, like late December to early January, I sat and played that game and beat it. And I was like, all right, I had 6 hard crashes. Other than that, like didn't really run anything. And there's everybody was like, fucking piece of shit. You know, it's just
Like, can we do unpopular opinions for a second?
go. Let's go. What'll get you on the torture rack? Let's go.
I think Cyberpunk is a shitty looking game. Like, I'm not talking about performance. I'm not talking about mechanics. I think it looks
Artistically,
like dog
like-
shit. Yeah. I don't like how it looks. I've played a bit of it. I'm not interested. It's just vapid and crude and uninteresting.
Since 2.0, have you played it the new one?
I haven't played it since 2.0, but unless it looks like a completely different game,
It's a free update with the 2.0. I will say that. Like,
I'll try it, and I will say I'm wrong if it changes my mind. I mean, No Man's Sky went from being a game that was underwhelming at best to freaking amazing.
people need to give games a chance. I mean, yeah,
I
I
will
mean,
give it a
there's-
chance, but I think the Cyberpunk
Yeah.
art style is awful.
I mean, well, then you probably won't really. It probably won't be too much of a departure. Then, I mean, yeah, we all know about Mega 64's play date. I mean, that's that's the standard. You got to have the release date and then the play date. Like, when is this game actually playable? So,
It's true.
they made that video long ago, and it's just remained true for a long time. Yeah, it does suck because we used to get games on cartridges or on discs, and it was just like, here you go. This thing don't got a modem on it. Then Dreamcast and PS2 came along, and I was like,
Well,
fuck.
games were smaller, teams were smaller,
Yeah.
budgets were smaller, stakes were lower. I mean, now it's just so hyperinflated, and you have to do these giant projects to justify the size of your budget. Otherwise, you have to let people go and downsize, and so games
Yeah.
just keep. It's the same as growth incentives for major corporations. It's just the games have to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and along the way they're just getting less and less and less interesting because there's less of a voice to it. When you've got 1 million people making something, there's no identity. It's just a blob.
When there's so much money, there's too much risk mitigation to do anything interesting.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's why we're seeing so many layoffs and stuff from different companies, and companies just cutting stuff in half, and it's just like, god damn, like just these mergers. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the indie scene is just tearing it up.
Yeah.
Here's my unpopular opinion. Ever since I've started playing like talk about Final Fantasy, played all of Final Fantasy 10 on stream, I'm playing 7 later when we get done. Please, for the love of God, stop saying remake to me. Just stop saying it. The whole time I'm playing Final Fantasy 10, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Final Fantasy 10. They should remake this."
No,
It's
they
like
shouldn't.
I don't want them to remake it. I'm sat here literally playing the fucking original right now. I want to play the original. I'm having a good time. I'm playing this game. I don't want to sit and talk about a hypothetical what it would look like as a remake. It's a good game. It was a good game then. It's an excellent game now. And I just feel like if you're talking about these remakes, you just nostalgic for the idea of being young and having free time to play games. And if your time's so fucking spent up, why are you talking to me about remakes? Go use your time more wisely.
And they have the remaster of it too already.
And
it's
it
like
sucks.
They did do that.
It's terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So
dog
shut up,
shit.
people. Yeah.
So no remake, but what about a hypothetical 10-3
Now we're talking.
where Tidus does not get his head blown off?
Yeah, I was going to say, is it like the novel or not? If it's not like the novel, then yeah. If it is, no.
I've always been kind of sour about the fact that Final Fantasy VIII never gets any attention, and because it's my favorite.
I'm playing it after 7. I'm going 7, 8, and 9.
And I'm okay with it not getting any attention because that means they'll leave it alone. Because they did enough damage with the remaster. Because it looks like dog shit too.
Yeah.
I've heard 7 remake is good, but when I sit down to play 7, I'm not going to be there wishing it was the remake. I can play that fine. It's like a separate thing.
Do you know the twist?
I could guess, and I could guess what they're going to do in the second one as well, but I don't want to spoil
Fair
it.
enough. I'll just leave it.
I mean, I reckon I could write a script for exactly how the second one's going to go.
Leave your expectations at the door. I mean, I actually had a pretty good time with 7 Remake, but
I'm probably never going to play it. I don't think I'll ever play it.
Yeah, it's doing its own thing, and it is a lot more shallow than the original.
I love it. I
know
love
you
how
do. I know
gaudy it fucking is, but I'm in the same boat as like Metroid. The ending kind of slapped me in the face.
Mechanically, yeah, in terms of gameplay, it is mechanically and structurally shallow. But in terms of story, it's interesting.
I think it scratches a different itch. I just think it's it's a different game.
You know what else is a different game? Final Fantasy 16. Jesus Christ! Like my hands hurt after playing that game. Like it's.
I still haven't played
It's
that.
active as shit. You know they have the accessories that you can equip that auto dodge and all that, but it's just like playing it actively. You have to dodge and evade and parry, and you're fighting these long HP. Bullet sponge, not bullet sponge, but say they have high HP, so it's an endurance match. Just sitting there and just mashing the hell out of the attack button, and this ain't turn based at all anymore. And
Look, I know, like this is literally old man yells at cloud.
Well, that's like Remake did a good job of balancing, those things and it not being fucking Ninja Gaiden or Devil May Cry. It's a difference.
Right. My thing is though, like I play 16. I played it I did play it for like an hour, and I was like, okay.
I mean, get a little more into it, and like
I will.
get
I'll
like
get
your
through
4
it.
styles. Like that's why the Devil May Cry thing is like you get your different styles with your different whatever you've got equipped. But
I could not stop playing Sea of Stars.
Yeah, we can go back to that again.
I may play it again. It made me play The Messenger, which I also couldn't stop playing.
I don't know what that is.
Basically, sabotage rules, and you should give them all your money.
I mean, that's for us, I think when we think RPGs, that's kind of what is scratching that itch, but then over here we've just got this hybrid type of game now that's just different from what Final Fantasy normally
That's
is.
fine.
So I can appreciate it for
always
what
been
it,
experimental.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Like
fine.
I can appreciate it for being this experimental, familiar thing where it's got a blend of old and new. Like I like that, but it's just man, this is not what I was really here for. But I'm still playing through it. And there's some kick-ass moments in it that are like, holy shit, like that. I have hit those moments.
Yeah, and I'll go through it.
But it's I don't know. I'm having a hard time with it.
I feel the same way about survival horror, man. Like I want those old games back too.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'm just an old person. Like maybe that's really just it.
For me, Signalis was like the closest thing to being like, a great time in that regard. But I don't play too much in that genre. But yeah, that was really good.
Holy fucking shit! We live in a cruel world where that doesn't get Game of the Year. We really do.
Yep.
That Signalis is fucking off its head good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Apache wants me to play Signalis at some point so that he doesn't have to get scared himself. So I still got to do that for you, man.
You will love it.
Oh yeah, Days. You'll love that game. Like it was great.
That is one of the we talk about like aesthetics and the art direction of classic games when they couldn't do a lot with it.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most aesthetically beautiful games I've ever seen in my life. I love everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Strongly holistic. Everything sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ceilings disappear into like a thing of like just black where you have to like imagine it. It's like the Metal Gear elevator shit. So yeah, I think you'll dig it.
Man, this is why I kind of wish Kojima would sort of back away from the super high budget, giant narrative experienced Hollywood blockbuster type games and start doing more weird experimental stuff like PT. Because like that dude came out of nowhere with like one of the best horror games ever made, and he'd never done it before.
I did see him taking pictures today with those 2 guys that I didn't recognize, and I looked into it and saw somebody in the comments name them, and they were like horror YouTubers, and they had like millions of subscribers on there, but they were doing something like we made an A24 movie type, like we made this video, so they're in that horror realm. So I do think he is kind of still leaning into all that horror stuff, and he's working with people. They signed the wall over there and stuff, and so he is working, or at least talking with people in that sector. So,
but don't worry, guys. A Silent Hill Ascension is just around the corner. That's gonna fill our needs, right?
Okay, if you need more proof that we're not Konami shills, that game looks like such an enormous piece of schlocky shit.
Is it a game though? Like,
I don't even know if it's a game. I don't know what it is because they won't tell us.
It's a streaming choose your own adventure, like where
Yeah,
everybody
like, people
participates in
vote.
the world, and then it's a vote like American Idol, and you decide if they die. I don't know.
Silent Hill metaverse.
I know that they're gonna have a contingency plan for this, but it would crack me the fuck up if like everybody voted for just scrap it all, kill the protagonist, fuck it all, because they're clearly inspired.
Yeah.
It's like when you don't press up at the beginning of Out of This World, the tentacle just grabs you immediately and kills you. You're like,
Exactly.
well, shit.
Game over.
Because this is clearly inspired by like those choose your own adventures, like Until Dawn and Detroit and all that kind of shit, supermassive and supermassive type shit. And those games, incidentally, you can have like shit just fail and fall apart. There's an exclusive ending in Detroit where, you know, all the characters can die and it's just all complete like random incident.
And I love that.
I hope that we all collectively get together and vote for that ending.
Yeah.
Apache, I just want you to know that I threw up in my mouth a little bit when you said Silent Hill Metaverse.
It sounds like fucking Death Trap Dungeon, one of the greatest games ever made of all time. Was based on classic choose your own adventure books, which were invented by the guy who made Warhammer.
How can something be so confidently pretentious and while being so completely cliched, you know?
Did you kill your son? The first fucking question. Did you kill your son?
It's impressive how arrogantly stupid it is.
Silent Hill Metaverse coming to you soon.
God.
It's gonna happen.
I'll take the Silent Hill 2 remake over that. No, never mind. I don't want either. Just stop. Where's the one that actually looked interesting? You know, the Fortissimo or whatever?
The stuff on the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, or like
what was
no,
it called?
the one
I was
in
calling
Japan.
it something fucking hilarious the entire time. What is that game called?
Oh, like F or Fortissimo or whatever?
Silent Hill. That's it.
Silent Hill. Where's that one? That one actually seemed interesting and different. I want to know more about that one.
Yeah, no, it looks cool. Like the way that the rot is all like flowers and stuff. Oh, it looks cool as fuck.
Silent Hill reaching out into different mythologies and countries is kind of an interesting concept, even if it sort of flies in the face of what Silent Hill is supposed to be in the first place, but I'll take it.
Set in 1960s rural Japan.
I mean, that's kind of why I liked 4, despite its awkward kind of gameplay design, is that it was almost like conceptual, what if we made Silent Hill into a slasher concept?
Yeah.
And I would love to see that kind of exploration, like you said, in other regions, locations, timetables, but my God, this Ascension shit ain't it. Like,
yeah. Would it be like 4 where like, I guess it's been a long time since I've played 4, but like the implication was that the city was sort of, you know, the influence of the city was spreading and reaching out into areas that in large part had been touched by Walter Sullivan, right?
In a manner of speaking, yeah, especially depending on, you know, how things end up for your playthrough, but
because even then there was like a direct connection to the town through him. But in the case of like, okay, we're in Japan now, but like this is specifically about a town that specifically has a cult in it, that specifically worships a thing. And it, you know, Silent Hill came in and was like, actually, it's about your personal demons. Oh, and then they haven't been able to get away from that. So like, what is it now? Like, I'll hear him out, but I'm confused about what the premise is at this point.
Hey, did you know that the keys in Silent Hill 1 are based on the book The Wizard of Oz? Did you know that the Scarecrow key is found in an empty mailbox, just like the Scarecrow doesn't have a brain?
I can think of a few people who don't have brains.
Do you think about how the mailbox is a box attached on a wooden pole, just like a Scarecrow?
Man, for like the past like 5 minutes, I've had like no idea what the fuck y'all are talking about.
I was just thinking about Silent Hill.
Armchair Silent Hill analysis cliches.
I got more. The Lion Key.
All right, let's hear it.
Is in a police car. The police in America are like courageous and brave, aren't they?
So yeah, Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 out Tuesday. We'll see y'all when it's out.